For Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria, the menace of banditry seems unending. In the latest of such attacks, bandits killed farmers and an Islamic leader in Birnin-Gwari. The bandits also kidnapped scores of people. The chairman of Birnin-Gwari Emirate Progressive Union explained that the JIBWIS leader, Yakubu Muhammad Bugai, and 3 farmers were killed by armed bandits. Birnin-Gwari is so notorious for banditry.
Yes, but at the rate we are going, it's looking like we are back to the terrible old days. All the states where banditry was really commonplace until recently. Those states are seeing increasing activities of bandits right now. Whether it is Katsina you're talking about, or Kaduna, or Zamfara, which is the headquarters of banditry, because the bulk of the bandit leaders are there, and in fact, some of them who have moved to other places, like Niger, actually originated from Zamfara, and because states like Kaduna and Katsina, and even some parts of Niger, very close to Zamfara, we are now seeing a good number of these guys going to operate in those states. So I'm not worried about Kaduna alone. There are other places that we should be worried about, Zamfara especially. In fact, local government like Bukuyum, Safe, Anka, that I visited the last time in August when I was in Zamfara, and even did some documentaries there. Those places are really, really unsafe now. In fact, the people of Anka took to the streets to demonstrate against increasing banditry. So at the rate we are going, it looks like these guys are fully back. It looks like they are fully back. There is a video trending currently of bandits who kidnap people along the Kefi-Abuja highway. And they were molesting those women, especially women. You know? It's a new video just came out. So if you told me that the kind of bandits who would kidnap people and parade them openly the way Boko Haram used to do, if you tell me that in the Kefi area, we now have such bandits, I would have argued, because this was restricted to places like Kaduna, Niger. But now, Nasarawa State. So there is increasing banditry. More and more people are being kidnapped. They may have fled the hitherto notorious Abuja-Kaduna highway. But the problem is, because we do not launch coordinated operation against them, so they run away from a place that they deem dangerous and they go to operate elsewhere. So the new set of service chiefs really need to sit up and know that the way things are going is looking like 2022 all over again, and we have to do something, and do something quickly.
Yeah, I wanted to take it from where you just stopped.
Yes.
The new service chiefs, they have their job cut out, and by now they should hit the ground running.
Yes, I agree with you absolutely. The little knowledge that I know about the Inspector General of Police, I think he's an effective officer. What I've read about the Chief of Army Staff, I've read a lot of glowings about him. People say it's a very effective officer. So I think they should hit the ground running and solve the problem. Because like Jide said, my worry is that we are back to the old days. the securities forces were able to significantly add things on, to be able to add hands on things. And banditry seems to go down a little, moving towards the election. But it seems they're back. And I want to advise the service chiefs that I remember that the President Tinubu told them that there must be a synergy between the forces. And I want to also tell them that it is important that they must see the entire geopolitical zones in the North as one battlefield. Taking on the bandits in clusters cannot solve that problem. It's important that they must take them on everywhere so that they won't be able to move from one state to another. Because what they've been doing is that they move from state to state. And normally, when you are in an unconventional battle, that is the theater of war is not designed. So people move from state to state, and that won't solve our problem. If they move from Niger, they will go to Nasarawa. If we take them on in Nasarawa, they move to Kaduna. We have to find a way. There must be a synergy of taking them on at the same time. And I want to recommend that to the service chiefs.
And if you are looking at the situation we used to have in Kaduna during Nasir El-Rufai those days, and remember the special advisor in charge of security, that Arwan that time, I think he used to give a monthly brief or quarterly brief of what is happening in that state. And maybe it's less reported or it's abated, or what do you think happened?
No, yes, even when they were releasing a report of insecurity in the state, it wasn't as if insecurity went down. No. They were just honest enough to let us know the number of people kidnapped, the number of people killed, and those arrested. Kaduna was being very honest about the extent of insecurity in their state. And when people screamed about the high number of the kidnapped, I remember the state governor saying, look, if other states will do what we are doing by reporting the number of kidnap cases that they receive, that it will be far bigger than Kaduna State, than what we were experiencing in Kaduna State. So we didn't defeat insecurity in Kaduna State right until Nasir El-Rufai left office. And right now, things are still bad. Things are still bad, especially in the southern Kaduna area, some places in the Gabi and Chikun local government. So I still think that there is a need for a breath of fresh air, new ideas, new strategies to combat these people. And we must not be emotional about it. We must not be emotional. The president has to give the service chiefs the marching order. This is not a job for them to come and relax. No, you must make your mark, and you should be able to keep your position based on what you achieve. They must have key performance index. They must be judged based on what they do on the field. No service chief should be able to keep his position. You can see this one wearing army uniform. It's a bandit. Police uniform. Wearing police uniform and it's a bandit. I don't know how they get uniform.
Killed the police or abducted the police to dispossess.
Yes, or maybe they looted it somewhere. So there is a need, in my view, of a much better strategy than we've seen before. Otherwise, this thing will get worse. This thing will really get worse.
It seems like it's like rather than ideology, like something that has a beneficiary, as in benefiting economically. This guy is like an industry.
No.
Everybody, every young man is taking to it.
Ideology has nothing to do with it. What we are dealing with is just economic. They are doing that banditry for economic reasons. You know, initially when Boko Haram started, it has an ideology. Some people believe their own way of how Islam should be practiced. But now, the bandits and those who moved away from Boko Haram to join them, is strictly for economic reasons. That is why they kidnap people, so that they can collect ransom. You understand? That is why when they take over a place, they levy people to pay taxes to them. So it's strictly for economic reasons. That's not in doubt at all. But what is important is that we must not allow this thing to fester. Because if it gets worse, it will be more difficult for our security forces to be able to handle things. So now is the time for them to go onslaught. I saw the Chief of Army Staff the other day in trying to inspire his troops and all that, which is good. But that must be the way to go. They must find a way to do what they want to do in that state in all the states in the north, or all the states where banditry has been established to flourish. Because we must make it difficult for those people to do what they are doing. Because when a criminal knows that there's a reward in whatever he wants to do, it's very difficult to stop them.
You know, we've seen some northern leaders advocating for amnesty for these guys. And while the military, they're of the opinion that the military option is still the best, but there are some northern leaders, like the former governor of Zamfara State, that has come out to say, look, these guys, in any way, we have to rehabilitate them. Do you subscribe to this?
No, of course, I don't think it makes sense. And the experience is there for us to draw from. Katsina gave amnesty to these guys 2 times under Governor Aminu Bello Masari. And in the end, they resumed kidnapping and killing of people. And they were even killing soldiers. In Shimfida, 8 soldiers were slaughtered. I think 18 soldiers or so were slaughtered in one day in an ambush. And what did we see? There's no sense in giving these guys amnesty because they will not give it up totally. And El-Rufai himself explained why Kaduna would never consider amnesty. His argument was that a Fulani cattle rearer, because a good number of these bandits were originally Fulani cattle rearers who were victims of cattle rustling, and they felt if you can't beat them, join them. So he said, how do you expect somebody who will move from the north to the south with his cattle, and after
That kind of
several months in the jungle, just you sell one cattle
thousands of
for
kilometers.
200,000. Maximum, you sell one cattle for 200,000. Although these days they cost a lot more due to transportation cost and all that. But you can actually do a deal. You can kidnap someone, and on that person, just one person, you can get 100,000. Those trained victims, they paid 100
million.
100 million. Sorry, they paid 100 million.
That's a big difference.
Per head. Those who could not pay, government had to find a way. They set up a committee, and through that committee, they gave money to these guys. Because those guys are not polite, they are not nice people. They couldn't have released the rest of them if not for the work of that committee. But, you know, that's not an issue that I want to go into. But it makes no sense to think that somebody who was, and you know, cows in terms of their gestation period, just like human beings, 9 months. And but unlike human beings, they rarely give birth to 2 calves. Rarely, very rare. It's usually one per year. So you can imagine how difficult that business is. And you sell for 200,000, 300,000. You expect another cow give birth the following year. So it's not so much the kind of profit that they get from it. You can't compare to what happens with when you get involved in armed robbery or kidnapping.
Sharp.
You can make millions at once. So that's the thing. I do not support it. And look at our friend who was even involved in negotiation with bandits. That's Dr. Mustafa from Enua, Mustafa Enua. He personally even went to those people's camps to negotiate with them. I saw a video of him on a bike going to negotiate with bandits. We interviewed him here on Yori Folane's show, and he said, no, it makes no sense to negotiate. So I think the government should not even consider
practical
that.
knowledge of...
Of course, those who spoke eyeball to eyeball with them, they are saying no. So I don't think that Ahmed Sani Yerima personally went into any forest to negotiate with anybody. So he doesn't, in my view, know the implication of what he's saying. They always compare them with Niger Delta militants. It makes no sense. Niger Delta militants, those ones that they gave amnesty to, a good number of them went abroad, and they schooled abroad. Yeah. Today they are qualified pilots. And other. It's not, these are two different. Those ones were fighting over ideology. They didn't like the contamination of their environment.
Yes.
These ones are purely into criminality. There's no ideology about it. And that's why I said they are not terrorists, but they are just...
If you give them regular jobs, they're not ready to take it.
No, it's just the money that they want to make. They are not passing any message to anyone. It's not an ideology. That's why they are not terrorists. They are bandits. The definition of banditry fits them perfectly. We are the ones deceiving ourselves that they are terrorists. That's not the globally recognized definition of terrorism.
Yeah. Ultimately, they should rehabilitate these guys like we did to Boko Haram.
No, I believe
some Boko Haram guys.
I also do not agree that we should give amnesty. You don't reward criminality. When somebody has decided to be a criminal, even punishment as a form of deterrent will not stop them doing so. When Nigeria made a law that armed robbery during the military attracts firing squad, you will expect that people will not go into it. But people were still going into it. And they were ready to die by firing squad. In some Arab countries, if you carry drugs, it carries death penalty. But people still carry drugs to those places. So if somebody has made up his mind to be a criminal, you understand, your amnesty will not work. Because if you say, okay, all sins forgiven, we allow you to mix with the society, the person will not be able to cope because he will not get the kind of reward that he gets from criminality or from banditry. So that is no gray area. There's another Islamic, very popular Islamic that have been pushing this amnesty thing. Like he said, it is different from the Niger Delta thing. Is completely different, completely different. These ones are criminals, and the only way is to fight them because they are just like any other criminal. And because they benefit greatly from that criminality, it is difficult for you to give amnesty.